Mr. Clerk and Recorder.
Good morning, Commissioner Steve Schleicher, El Paso County Clerk and Recorder. Before I begin, hey, Pete, I just want to share with you, thank you. I'm one of those individuals that the VA reached out to by serving in Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and when I was in Iraq, I was at the burn pits. And honestly, guys, I ignored the letters that were sent to me by the VA. I've been pretty busy the last 9 months being our new clerk. And I actually sent an email, Pete, to your staff. I received an email response within 15 minutes from Chris. Chris said, get down here. I met him the next morning. Chris, I believe it was 7:45 in your office. Opened the door, had me in there, explained everything to me, and I walked out, everything taken care of. These guys are amazing. Thanks, guys. Yeah. You guys do an amazing job, so thank you. So, Commissioners, I'm going to sit there and just share with you the 2024 critical needs for the Clerk and Recorder's Office. The vision of your Clerk and Recorder's Office is to be a trusted regional leader known for excellence in county service and delivery. Our purpose is we provide essential public services to our Pikes Peak region in support of our residents, businesses, and communities, enhancing the freedom for all of us to thrive. What are the department's strategic plan goals? Because we're sitting here looking at 4 different statutory offices that fall under Clerk and Recorder, which is motor vehicle, recording, clerk to the board, and also elections. So goal 1, measurable increasing customer satisfaction. As I strongly believe in providing the best customer experience, and that measure is based on reaction time, customer sentiment, and brand. Offering great customer value, continually work on the customer's perception of our services. We offer more here in El Paso County than any other Clerk and Recorder's office in the state of Colorado. For example, many in the state clerks do not offer driver's license services. We do. We're the only office that is open on a Saturday up at our Union Town Center, which is extremely important to many here in our community because they don't have to take time off and take a pay cut to come renew the registration or get a marriage license or such. Goal 3, boosting customer outreach. Discover which platforms our customers are most active on so we can reach them about our services. Goal 4, open a new dealer desk. I would like to eliminate 1/3 of the Citizen Service Center customer flow. And what that is we have dealers here within our community, if they're up there off of Powers or if they're off of Motor City, and now we have dealers opening up in Monument, where they will come into our offices with stacks and stacks of titles, needing title work done, needing car registrations, a number of things. But there's times where they could sit there and take up one of our motor vehicle techs for several hours, which means then the wait time for our citizens is going up. What I want to do is pull the motor vehicle dealer desk out of the Citizen Service Center. It will still be located in the Citizen Service Center. And thanks to our HR director, he was so kind to basically say the old HR office at the Citizen Service Center, Steve, you can have that, where we can turn that into our dealer desk and pull that out, reduce the wait times at the Citizen Service Center where the dealers can go directly there and get their services done and not affect our normal citizens. Goal 5, increasing employee retention, is invest in our employees and also reassess our compensation. And that's something I really want to talk to you all about today. Is right now my motor vehicle techs are coming in at about $19.25 an hour, and when they go home to work, or go home I should say after work, is they're driving by Chick-fil-A and Whataburger offering $20 to $21 an hour. So those are things I want to sit there and talk to you about as well. So department's operating indicators. So I want to talk to you about the motor vehicle department. Currently, I have 80 full-time staff and 26 part-time employees. Here are the numbers from January 1 through current. is 75.15% is titles and registrations. To date, we are just shy of 230,000 titles or registrations that we have worked in our motor vehicle branches, which we have 4. We have our Powers office, Fort Carson, Citizen Service Center, and Union Town Center. 19.38% is driver's license. And keep in mind, this is a favor to the Department of Revenue. Not many clerk and recorders in the state provide this service. And just to share with you, we were just shy of 5,500 driver's licensed, either renewals or new driver's licenses last month, which was the most in the state and combined for 63 counties. Dealer services, 1.88%. So we have basically looked at not licenses, but titles and registrations, 5,725. And what I'm also proud of is military service. These are folks where they get express, and we, look at that, but we have served just shy of 11,000 of our service members with driver's license and also vehicle registrations and renewals. Our elections department, as you guys know, we are extremely busy right now. As Nikki called up, said, hey, can you come on down? I was just greeting about 20 new election judges as we are now processing ballots of folks that have voted. But here is what we're looking at is total active voters as of October 9th is 483,048. And taking a look here as far as other unaffiliated Democrats and Republicans, how it's broken down, where other parties is 2.16%, unaffiliated is 49.65%, Democrats at 17.82%, and Republicans at 30.37%. These are individuals that every day we are getting emails, calls, or folks that are coming in wanting to register, or they're letting us know they no longer live here, preparing for an election. These guys work extremely hard. Going into our recording department, I have 9 full-time employees. 87% of our services there in recording is recording total documents, total pages, total copies. We're just shy of 500,000 copies and documents that we're sitting there storing and archiving. Total e-recording, that is down because of our real estate market with interest rates being up, as warranty deeds aren't being filed, things like that, but 12% of our services in e-recording. Marriages, we're at 5,523. So commissioners, I will tell you is every Saturday I'm there with my staff at Union Town Center, and it's something where I'm sitting there looking at 10 marriages, if not between 10 to 25 each Saturday, where folks come on in and get married right there in the office. The other thing is I've shared with you, I started the property fraud program. We have already sent off 585 letters to property owners where we are sitting there seeing quick claim deeds and we're suspecting things. Luckily, as of now, there's been nothing to be turned over to the district attorney, but this has gone over extremely well with our community because I've heard from probably about a third of these property owners via email saying, thank you very much. Going to our clerk to the board, and I think you all would agree with me, Jackie and Bridget are absolutely amazing, but they are absolutely nonstop working. 20% of their work is in agenda items, so far there's been 631 agenda items, 303 resolutions, 142 contracts, 122 liquor licenses, 3,353 Board of Equalization, which was the second step of our property appeals, also doing abatements, and they are still now working on binding arbitration. We are still working with property appeals. So with these 4 departments combined, commissioners, we are bringing in on average $17.5 million per month. Here are the budgetary highlights. Motor Vehicle Department. Taking a look at what the 2023 collected and retained. So we are retaining as a county about 4.26%, but thus far we are at over $185 million of what these motor vehicle offices are generating. Driver's license is 1.5 million, as we are about 39.94% of what the county retains. I'm actually working on the IGA on that, and I'm looking at trying to work with the Department of Revenue to get that increased because we are providing a number of full-time staff, and when you look at the $617,000, we're needing more staff, as I shared with you, when we're sitting here now 5,000 driver's licenses per month. Clerk to the board, elections, recording. So total collected and retained thus far from January 1st is just shy of $192 million. Here are the budgetary highlights. Since I've come on since January 1, El Paso County Property Fraud Program, working with Experian on the voter rolls, Pocket Talk for elections and motor vehicle departments, and that is, just to refresh your memory, that is where folks were coming into our motor vehicle department. They do not speak very good English, and they were using their kids or they were using their grandkids as interpreters. So we actually got Pocket Talk, where now our customers can actually talk into a device, and it actually translates to basically our employees an understanding, because a lot of time when you're sitting here dealing with that, there's a lot of private information, confidential information being passed back and forth. So that has gone over extremely well. As you know, Tuesday we launched our ballot box surveillance cameras. I put a DMV kiosk in Fountain, Colorado, which is absolutely going over extremely well down there off of Mesa Ridge Parkway. We installed a ballot box at Monument Santa Fe Trailhead, and we are working now on the Elections GIS mapping community site, as I shared Tuesday, that we will launch for the 2024 general election.
Mr. Schleicher, I'm going to add one other huge piece of the previous year's budget and staffing, and recognizing that you had a very staff intense process to help with the redistricting efforts. So I just kind of wanted to say thank you for managing your staff in a way that worked within your previous year's budget. But I think that was quite an onerous thing for and staff-heavy requirements for you all to deal with.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll definitely share that with them. But yeah, I did forget that. The critical needs and justification. So commissioners, there are two things that I'm going to be sitting there asking for. And the first one is my common area maintenance at the Union Town Center. We lease that facility, and our CAM has increased $23,000. So I'm hoping that, you would feel fit to go ahead and allow that to be funded. And in addition to that, commissioners, it's cost of living allowance for all county staff. Not only my staff, but when you sit there and you look at the numbers that the clerk and recorder's office is doing, that is no different from any other county department in the amount of work that they do on behalf of our citizens. So I'm really hopeful you all would consider a cost of living increase for our county staff. And with that being said, are there any questions?
Can I have you go back to the previous slide really quickly? Thank you. Please remind me that Union Town Center motor vehicle office, do we own that or lease the space?
So Madam Chair, we lease that space. The building that we do own is the Powers location.
Okay. And how many years is that lease right now?
We just renewed that lease, so we're going to be there for another 10.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. I just wanted to address some of the questions around staff and pay issues. I think for the public especially, I know you know this, but your predecessor was a part of a salary study that we did here and that we have worked very, very hard on to make sure that we are able to retain and keep those fantastic employees, because that's what customer service is all about, as you know, is making sure that we have those. So I know that we went through that process and we made some adjustments based on that. And I believe that, we are continuing to look at that very closely and how, the efforts that we need to make sure that we are able to fairly compensate and make sure that we can provide great service. So I won't get deep in the weeds on that, but I did want to just mention that in the context of this question, that we have been working towards that and making adjustments over the last little while here. So
thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Well said. And that's a beautiful segue, I think, to our next presentation. Are there any further questions? Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank everything that you all do as well. And, maybe just highlight the elections department and all the work that goes in there to make sure that we have good, open, free, and fair elections in El Paso County. It's an enormous amount of work. And I'd say the Clerk and Recorder's Office has survived some challenges over the last few years that have been very, very difficult. And on a different point, but it has more to do with what the state gets involved in. It is expensive in Colorado now to register vehicles. It's a lot of money, especially if they are newer and you have that the value-added tax. And I'll just make the point that I have a trailer in here in Colorado that I keep in storage maybe 363 days a year. And to use it the other 2 days a year, I have to pay like $40 a year. The thing only cost me $500 to buy it. But in order for me to put it on the roads, I have to buy my trailer over, again every 10 years just for the little sticker. So, that's not anything that you can do with, but I just want to make the point. It's kind of expensive to have a vehicle in Colorado now anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm going to get a little on my soapbox here, but since that topic was brought up, and truly I know we're trying to keep this to critical needs, but this is all related. It's like my comments earlier about the economy. When we have to be very careful about the way that we adjust and make choices that affect the economy, because we can end up, on these layer upon layers of reactions that cause high cost of living. And I think it's a little bit of what we're seeing here as we talk about the amount of money that it takes to put a car on the road. Well, everybody always just needs a little bit more for what their next project is. But the reality is there's only one way to drive down the cost of living, and that is to stop spending so much money. And that's the government. The government has to make those hard choices. When we look at the fee increases and all those things, we all have to drive on the road. We all expect to have to pay for those roads. But I'm telling you that what I don't expect to have to pay for is electric vehicle infrastructure and all the things that we want and think our state thinks would be nice to have. But at the end of the day, just like we don't pay for gas stations and we let the private market handle that, the more the more the government dips into getting into businesses that the government was never intended to do. These are not things that the government should be doing. The more we're going to drive up costs, and there's just no way around that. So that is a part of what we're dealing with here when we talk about salaries and cost of living, is that there's just no way around that. And there's only so much we can do here. We do our very best to keep those costs down here in El Paso County, and I think that that's working, and it shows when we have more people moving into El Paso County and moving out of Denver. That's because we are doing a better job of that here. But as I mentioned, we're talking about that Pikes Peak promise that we've rolled out, and I mentioned this on KRDO this morning. The reality is we need the state to give us a legal framework that we can work within. We can make so many decisions as local leaders, but we can't overrule the state, and we need the state to make those better decisions so that we can continue to provide lower cost of living for our citizens and for our employees to be able to thrive in an environment that, again, is getting more and more difficult for them. So thank you for my little bit of a soapbox there.
No, and Commissioner, you are absolutely right. And, lastly, I just want to share with you guys is I'm really looking forward to the upcoming potluck. Historically, it's been in my family for years. I'm going to go ahead and bring the Schleicher famous Himalayan rabbit stew. So as I was rushing down here, I found him Himalayan on the road.
Okay, with that.
Thank you very much.
I was about to say, thank you, Mr. Schleicher. I was about to say we do have a recurring theme today as we're looking very closely at how we manage our local budget. It is a recurring theme of the state and national things that really impact how much we can do with what we have and with on top of the requirements. So I am grateful that this board balances that very well and understands the interplay. It's a reality of what we have to do even at the local level right now. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, commissioners.